Well, I'm back already to my hobby prison. I keep losing my keys, so I'm gonna take a scrap piece of wood and I'm gonna make a key hanger on it. Should be an easy project, no big deal. Waiting for the paint to dry is probably gonna be the longest. I don't have a router, so I'm just gonna cut it and sand the corners and the edges and let it go from that. So I will have you come along with me while I do these kinds of things, except for when I'm using the saw. Not gonna do it. You're gonna have to wait till I cut it. All right, I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. And how long is my board here? Let's say 30 inches, so 15 inches is about half. That might be a little long for a key holder. So if we go a foot, we'll go 10 inches. That should be plenty long, right? Can we even see that? Yeah, I can see it. This isn't rocket science, everybody. Guys, this isn't rocket science, guys. This is some place to hang my keys so I stop losing them. That's what it is. I gotta hold this. I don't know if I can do it. 1 minute. There it is, it's marked. And basically I'm just gonna get this circular saw and cut that right along there. And I'm not gonna hold my camera on the circular saw, so I'll be back in a minute. I got looking at that and decided that 10 inches just was, it's too short. So I changed it to 12 and I cut that off. And it just looks more appropriate. Nail marks, I didn't see those, it doesn't matter. We're gonna sand this cut edge down. I've used this for something before, I don't know what, because all the edges are sanded smooth. Every one of them, except for the one I just cut. So I'm gonna sand that real quick on my little sander that I've got on my workbench. I don't know what it's called, this Ryobi deal. It will only take a second, and then probably sand the front and back and let the paint, and then paint it. It looks okay. This edge right here, I'm gonna sand it on that belt sander. Yeah, you know what? It's wide enough. I'm just gonna use this sander. Well, it's not too rough. I can't remember what grit that is, but I'm gonna sand this up. Been sanding on this for just about a minute. I don't really like this edge right here. I'm gonna spend some time on this and get this down. It doesn't matter how much material that I remove, because it's not gonna, it doesn't fit in a puzzle of any part. It just is what it is, and I just want it smooth. So it's gonna take a bit to get that down to where I like it. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm in it about 45 seconds and it's already smoothing out really well. I just gotta cut it down and get this. So we gotta remove material off of here, and when we get it to here, it'll be nice and smooth. We're almost there already. I think I'm about 4 minutes in and just have a little bit left to go. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Man, it's cool what sandpaper does. Just that is so smooth. It just feels awesome. Well, that took about 10 minutes. It's really smooth now though. That's all but gone. You guys can't, well, maybe you can. There's a tiny little indicator of a low spot, but I don't care. I'm tired of sanding it. Got to hit these edges. And then do this, hit this edge, and do that. And then it should be smooth enough to paint. And I'll tell you what, this is great sander. I use it for everything. I got it about 10 years ago to help me get my edges flat on my leather work. You know, when you make a knife sheath and you have two sides and you need to get this part right here flat. I got that to, and it did great, but I haven't changed the belts. They're still the 10-year-old belts that I had when I got it, so I need to get new belts, I guess. So we'll be doing this edge right here. This has got some paint on it. I don't think it'll take as long as that other side to get done. You know, I think that's going to take longer to get that flat than that other side. That's ridiculous. I definitely need to get new belts. I'm going to break out my... Well, no, I'm not. I'm just going to sit here and grind on this until it's done. And then we'll do the edges or something. Well, that's just driving me back crazy. I can't do it. It's taken forever. I got to get new sanding belts on this. So I broke out my belt sander right here. The belt on that is a lot more aggressive, so hopefully it won't take as long to get that cleaned up. I got that board clamped to my workbench. I won't be able to get this side over here, but when I get this done, we'll get over here and get this corner. Well, that took about 2 minutes. With that, I put my belt sander in my vise and I just worked it. About 2 minutes later, it's smooth. It's really smooth. It's tricky around this edges. See, it's not straight or anything. But I don't have a router, and you know what? Nah, I have something for my Dremel that might work, but I don't really care that much. It's just something to hold the keys on. Yeah, I'm not sure what the grit is on that, but I'm going to hit this with 600 grit sandpaper, and then we're going to paint it. I'm wondering about this sandpaper for my belt sander. See, the clinic I work at is right next door to Harbor Freight Tools. I got Cafe Rio on one side and Harbor Freight Tools on the other, and I mean right next door. And I said, if you guys want me to work here, I'm going to need more money. But they didn't pay it, but I took the job anyway. Point is, I'm right there, and I'm wondering if they carry... See, Harbor Freight Tools has sandpaper that's just crap. It's crap. It's crap. It's not... It's garbage. However, they have Hercules sandpaper that's outstanding. I love that stuff. On the other hand, I don't know if they have it for a belt sander. I guess, well, I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I guess I can check it out. But anyway, the belt sander is also from Harbor Freight Tools. It's a Warrior. You know what? I can't remember what I paid for it. It wasn't very much, and it works great. It really does a really good job, and I've never had any problems with it. So I'm going to hit this with some 600 grit, and then we'll paint it, let it dry, and then we'll put some screws in it. I've had this old, I don't even know, some kind of a binder since the 90s. And I carried it around forever, never knew what I was going to do with it. And then I've been putting all my manuals for all my tools in it, but it's got folders on the inside. Here I go, doing that thing that I don't want to do, which is film myself with one hand doing things with the other. But it's got these folders in it, and I labeled them for sandpaper. And it works out really good. So I need to find some 600. I wonder if I have a piece in here that is torn up. I typically tear them up and then save the pieces, but see, this is the Harbor Freight. This is the Harbor Freight stuff, Hercules, and it works really good. I like it a lot. So I'm gonna tear some off of this, and we'll sand that piece of wood with a sanding block. I always cut those big pieces of paper into fourths. I cut it in half, and then these two I cut in half, because they fit those electric palm sanders so well. I can't find mine. I don't know where the hell I put it, but I'm just going to use this. This is a sanding block, but I'm just gonna wrap the 600 around it and use it just to give this a good sand and smooth it out more, and then we'll give it a paint. Wow, that is so smooth. And 600 grit's not too fine, so paint won't stick to it, so we shouldn't have any problem. I'm gonna set up a paint area and get some paint shaken. Well, I need to hit this corner a little bit more, but man, we're ready to rock paint. You gotta shake your paint up. Look at all that paint I got. Car cleaning, so I got so much crap. You gotta shake your paint up a lot, especially after the winter when it's been in the garage cold. You know, paint is pretty durable. It lasts, make sure my hat's lined up. Those eyes glow in the dark. You gotta make sure it's paint. What was I saying? Paint's pretty durable. You know, my garage doesn't freeze in here, but there's no heat in here in the winter. It gets cold, but I've been using this paint for years and it still works. So you just make sure you shake it, the direction shake it for 2 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. And I was gonna spray that wood black. This color is iron. I was gonna spray it black, but the hooks are black to hang the keys on. So we'll paint it iron. Black goes with everything. And I was thinking about putting it inside the pantry, but we'll make it more convenient than that. We'll just hang it someplace in the kitchen where it's easy to get to. So I'll get back when we're ready to paint. I got this paint at Ace. I knew you were gonna say Harbor Freight Tools. I got it at Ace. It's paint and primer, matte enamel. And you spray it in light coats. Some of you guys, you try to rush spray paint. Spray paint's horrible. It runs, you just have to look at it wrong and it'll run. So you just do really light coats. This stuff's nice because you can recoat within 1 minute. Well, not within 1 minute. You wait a minute and then you can recoat. So it goes pretty fast. It dries in an hour. So we've got the front, 4 sides, and then the back. So we've got 6 sides, but we can do 5 out of 6 sides, and then in an hour we can flip it over. It should be dry, and paint the other side, wait an hour, and then we can put our hooks on it and mount it. Basically, instructions say just shake it. It's got to be 55 degrees or warmer. Spray it outside. Wear your mask. I'm not going to. Let's get to work. Supposed to say 6 to 8 inches away. And this is paint and primer all in one. And this is going fast. It's going really thick. Maybe it didn't make it through the winter. You know, no, this is going on way too heavy. Look at that. Yeah, this got bad. Either that or the cap. Look at that. Well, it's probably going to take about 7 hours for this to dry. So we're just going to leave it. I'm not putting on any more coats. And we'll come back when it's dry. I don't know how long that's going to take. We'll turn it around and do the other side. Back on the key hanger. I haven't done it for a couple of days. I got distracted with some other stuff, but I'm only in it a half an hour anyway. And we're just going to finish it up here real quick. I like the color. It turned out nice. Right there. And what I'm going to do, these edges aren't square. You can see that. But I'm going to measure down an inch on both sides. And then mark out. I'm going to go in an inch. And then every other inch, I'm going to mark a spot to drill a hole. So it'll be 1 inch, 3 inch, 5 inch, 7 inch, 9 inch, and 11 inch. Obviously that's not right with my finger, but we're going to make those holes. We're going to drill some holes for the hooks. Anyway, we'll mark it out and I'll show you. So what I did is I went on this side and measured over an inch, 1 inch, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And then I will measure down 1 inch for the top where the screw goes. Here's the hook. That's what the hooks look like. They have 2 spots. So went down, I just took my framing square, went down 1 inch, put a mark, and then went down 3/8 of an inch. That's where the second screw goes. So they're in a straight line, and just marked them. Now we're gonna drill them. We're just gonna put a tiny little hole in there to help get the screw started. This is a 1/16 inch bit. Just about that's all we're gonna do on all of them. And all the screw holes are drilled. You know, I'm not even gonna worry about that. I had to use this side of the board because the instruction says it would be dry in an hour. So I waited an hour before I started painting this side. So when I flipped it on that side, it stuck. And I didn't want to mess with it. So I'm just gonna do this side and ignore this. Okay, that's all. I'm not selling it. I'm not turning it in for a grade. I'm not a professional. It's just something to get me out of the house, doing something productive that I enjoy. And it's gonna be okay. The screws are pretty small, and I've got big fat fingers, so it's gonna be hard for me to hold on to them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna magnetize this screwdriver. I picked this up at Walmart some time ago. The idea is to just drag your screwdriver through this part a few times and it'll magnetize. So let's try it. I can't show you obviously, but I'll take it right now and drive this through there, try to magnetize it, and then we'll see if it works. I took it and I dragged it. Okay, I put it in and dragged it. I put it in and dragged it backwards about 10 times. Oh, there you go. All right, hang on a minute. I put one kind of just in the middle, just so I could maneuver around, line the holes up. Just twist your screw in. Man, you'd think that'd be a lot easier to go in. That's just pine. That's not a hardwood whatsoever. All right, it's all the way down. So I'm gonna finish those up. You can either take this or a power screwdriver, or put a Phillips bit into that and go to town. It shouldn't take too long. There it is, all done. I think I'm into this maybe 45 minutes. Is it perfect? No. Do I care? No, not really. Is it gonna help me keep track of my keys so I don't lose them all the time? Most definitely. And you know what? It was free, basically free. I got these hooks maybe for, well, I'm sure they were under $1 from Temu. I know that. I don't really remember the price. And so I'm in it under $1. I had this scrap. I had the paint laying around. I'm in it 79 cents maybe. Could I got one cheaper? Probably. Maybe at a thrift store or something. Could have picked it up for 50 cents. Picked one up for 50 cents and a lot nicer. But I enjoyed making that. It was no big deal. It was fun and it's practical. It's going to help me keep track of my keys. So I just want you people to know, I almost said guys, I think it's important that you just do something. I don't know what it is that you're into, but just get up, go out in the garage, go out, even if you don't have a garage, go out to the porch, go out to the kitchen table, I started doing leather work on the kitchen table. I lived in a camp trailer for damn near 5 years, and I did leather work on the kitchen table, and I slowly buy equipment, and I bought a drill press from Harbor Freight Tools. I think that was my first Harbor Freight purchase, was that drill press, and I'd set it up on my kitchen table when I needed to make holes in leather for stitching, and then I was done. I would put it in a little closet by the water heater. So you can do this stuff, and you'll get excited about it, and it'll be fun, and you'll just see things that you can do and make and build, and it helps your soul to have a hobby. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed making that little project. Thank you for stopping by my hobby prison. I hope to see you again.